What I think it's going to take to actually break the bias is, rather than people thinking that they have to embrace gender diversity and inclusion, people actually wanting to, and if given the choice, they would still choose to do things differently to help people progress in terms of their thinking around inclusion and diversity. And my ask of leaders and people just more generally is to really challenge themselves around what are they doing to try and break the bias. Try and test your assumptions. So you might think you're doing something that is inclusive and helping the progression of, for example, women in the workplace. But have you really tested your assumptions? How do the people around you feel about it? So try and seek feedback because sometimes I think people have good intentions, but perhaps they're missing the mark.
Really would love that one day our daughters in capital markets wouldn't know what unconscious bias is, that it would have to be a word they have to look up in the dictionary. I'm raising a son and I know I will do my bit to break the bias.
I ask all women out there to challenge your own bias against women. We are often our own enemy, so we need to support each other. I ask my fellow female counterparties to challenge your own unconscious bias when it comes to empowering women, because that is how we will break the bias.
International Women's Day 2022, Break the Bias. For me, it's not only about diversity, but inclusion. We want to make sure that we're listening to the voices around the table, but importantly, asking what voices aren't being heard and seeking them out.
Individually, we are all responsible for our own thoughts and actions. We can break the bias in our communities and our workplaces. For me, break the bias means it's time to question our own minds. Bias may be natural, but it can be broken. Gender equality bias must be broken. We need to be encouraged to succeed, be confident, to have courage to speak up, continue to have ambition and strength to push through these boundaries. We need to remember that whatever dreams we have, these can come true. Be yourself and you'll find yourself, and you'll find your purpose and a career where you are respected. Women need to feel valued, to take the lead, and knowing that we can make a difference because we all deserve equality. There is hope for a better future if together we break the bias.
As I think about the theme for International Women's Day 2022 of Break the Bias, I think of the challenges that most often face women in the context of workplace equity, diversity and inclusion. I honestly believe the most fundamental challenge we face in breaking this bias is the division of unpaid work within the household. I think we've learned a great deal of really helpful lessons through the pandemic that can greatly assist with this. And so on this International Women's Day, I encourage our partners and colleagues to continue to adopt a more equitable division of household labour to assist remove these barriers to workplace equity, diversity and inclusion.
So, what does break the bias mean to me? I feel that it is up to each of us to make a difference. To me, it means looking inwards, identifying our own unconscious bias and challenging ourselves to counteract those each day. We also need to look outwards at the actions of those around us to ensure we're all looking to create a professional environment of inclusivity and to speak out about any inequalities and unconscious bias at play in the workplace. As we approach almost 2 years of working from home and all the challenges and opportunities that have come from that, we can take this as a fresh start to break the bias as we all return to our offices and are once again able to develop our in-person relationships. We have shown how flexible working arrangements can work for everyone, and I hope that this flexibility can create more opportunities for inclusion in the future.